Since we're going to be talking about money, it is important and necessary for me to be able to place this disclaimer here, that it also be made clear that I am not a financial advisor. I am not a qualified financial consultant. And the information I'm going to be sharing with us is for us to be able to be informed and educated so that we can make more informed decisions regarding our own personal finances and our financial future. This evening's presentation, I think, is going to be one of the most meaningful presentations that we would attend, perhaps for 2026. And as I was saying earlier, there are two fundamental pillars upon which living our optimal and best life stand. One is health, which is our true wealth, and the other one is money. And we want to keep it in its correct context, but money is very important. While it may support life, it's not what defines life, but we need to have money and have the right relationship with it, because when we have money, becomes a quiet ally for living freely, living purposefully, living effectively. And it matters because life matters. You see, without sufficient money, our capacity to live aligned and with purpose, that is diminished. We've all experienced that, and living is reduced to mere survival. What I want to talk about is how we all, and I don't mean just uh, fortunate few, I mean all of us on this call and everyone that we know for that matter, we can all live beyond survival. We can all live wealthy. We can all live financially free lives. Now, I know that's a bold statement, but in order for us to be able um, to capture the value of that, I want us to have an open mind this evening, because I'm going to talk about some things that, believe me, most of the world they're not familiar with. Um, we're not aware of some of these things that's going on around us, but because there is a shift taking place in the world right now, and it's happening within the financial system, we tend to think that it's just money and monetary policies changing. I want us to know that it is more than that. Money is the bloodstream of society. And it's like the bloodstream in the body. If it's not circulating well, if circulation in the body slows down, it affects all cellular health in the body. The same thing happens within society. Every aspect within the social landscape, there is nothing across the entire social landscape that does not require money in order for it to function and function optimally. And that's why I say money is the bloodstream of society. And if in our lives it's not circulating well, it is going to hinder and have an impact on how well we can maximize our potential. And so, keeping money within its right context, which is important for us not just to have an income, to just make a living, we need to have sufficient of it, and we need to even be wealthy, simply because it is our birthright that we do that. It is unfortunate that we have grown up in a world with a system, a financial system, that is geared in such a way to prevent the average person from being able to access true wealth. Now, what we're going to talk about this evening is how each and every one of us can. That's why I'm saying that this is perhaps one of the most important and most meaningful presentations that you're going to probably attend for 2026. I'm excited about it because what I'm going to share with you, it's all part of what I do, what I'm a part of, and what has changed and is changing my life for the better. And so We're going to be looking at applying the four laws of creating sustainable wealth. And the goal is to be able to have that empowerment to reclaim financial sovereignty. I don't want us to take this lightly. This is not just another financial opportunity that promises financial independence, financial security or stability somewhere down the road. If we're willing to put in enough time and effort and work hard enough, like a second job or a side hustle, that one day we may be able to pay our bills better, or one day we may be able to see an increase enough where our life could become a little bit more comfortable. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about building not just wealth, but sustainable wealth. And when I say sustainable, I'm talking about wealth that will continually increase and outlive us, where we can leave a legacy and leave an inheritance. That's the type of wealth I'm talking about. And let me say it again, there is not a single person on this call that is going to be left out of what I'm saying. The only thing that will make a difference is where we stand in our own perspective, our own values, and how we perceive life, what we want out of our own life, and knowing what that really means for us. Those are the things that will help to determine if you're going to see what I'm going to be talking about, if you're going to capture it, and if you're going to, yeah, if you're going to see the value. I'll tell you, not everyone is going to see what I'm saying, and that's fine, because what I'm going to be talking about is so new. As I said before, most of the world is not even aware of it. And a lot of it is so new and unfamiliar that we need to hear it and muse over it for a few times before it begins to sink in and begin to make sense. So we're going to be looking at how we can apply these four laws. These four laws, which regardless of what economy you're in or what sector of commerce you're in, these four laws apply. They're not separate, they're all interconnected. In fact, they form more of a cycle of how they work together. And they need to be harnessed together. And the first of them, some of us may tap into it at various points. The first is that we need to be able to create value where we are able to help solve real problems in this world or provide goods and services that are needed by people of the world. We need to be able to have ownership. And this is so important because we have been taught to just be consumers and become consumer minded. We need to own and hold assets that appreciate in value and or generate steady income for us. We also need to have leverage where what we are producing through our steady income, and I'm talking about beyond trading time for money. When we get into ownership, we're going beyond that. But we need to have leverage where we are able to tap into sources and systems that can multiply what we are producing and create passive income, income that will continue to multiply without requiring any further effort, that it will continue to keep producing. That's leverage. And we need to be functioning within an environment where we can compound what we are producing in ways that are exponential, not linear growth, but exponential growth where it multiplies in huge ways over time. And so, if we can harness these four principles and have them working together, what we have is a system, an environment where we can create wealth, and not just wealth, but sustainable wealth, wealth that continues to flow and continues to multiply over time. And this is how we can leave a legacy, how we can leave an inheritance, and how we can live a much more comfortable life, especially as we get older into our more mature years and we want to enjoy the fruits of our labor. This is all possible today because the world that as we know it is going through a global shift. It's the dawning of what is being called the tokenized age. If you speak to the average person on the street, they may not even be familiar with that term. And it's a term that that is more common within the financial arena. So a lot of people think that the shift that's taking place is just within the financial system. It's not just the financial system, and this is something that we're going to have to really capture and understand because of what it means for you and I as it relates to tapping these four laws of creating sustainable wealth. The world right now is going through a civilizational shift. Many people don't not aware of that. This is not just a finance, it is starting with the monetary system and it's starting with the financial system only because money is the bloodstream of society. So it starts with the finances because everything within the social landscape rests upon economics. And so when it starts with that and it's going to trickle through the entire social landscape. So what I'm saying to us, ladies and gentlemen, that the tokenized age that we have emerged into and is now unfolding, this new age is literally a civilizational shift that is going to change the way how the entire world is going to function, not just the monetary system. And if you get anything, get that out of it, and more so what that is going to mean for you and I. As it relates to finances, this digital revolution that has been unfolding over the last couple of decades has come to a point where we are at a threshold and we're about to cross a new threshold in the digital revolution that for the very first time in history, hear what I'm saying, for the first time in history, every human being now have access to creating financial freedom. That's a bold statement, but it's so true. And some of us will see it and some of us won't. Every human being. What about those that don't have a good education and haven't been able to have degrees? Doesn't matter. It does not exclude them. What about those unbanked people that can't even afford to have a credit card or debit card? It includes them. I mean, everybody now have access because of this tokenized age to be able to access the four laws of creating sustainable wealth. Nobody is left out. And what I'm going to share with us today, if we get it and we all participate in it, there are going to be zero losers. I'm going to say that again because this is all unfamiliar. It all sounds like hype. It all sounds like, and those who know me, I'm not a hype person. But I am excited about it because for the very first time in history, this is now possible. And I want to encourage you that if you're not familiar with what the financial arena is calling the tokenized age, which is going to morph into the entire world, please start becoming familiar with it. Those of us who are in the financial space and know about it and see what's happening, it's still a very new concept. People are still trying to understand it. Some people have said to me, oh, that is for the people that's in that space. It's not for me. Oh, no, 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 no. It is going to touch every human life on this planet. So again, please make it your business or a matter of importance to pay attention and educate and explore some of what we're going to be talking about. This digital revolution is not primarily about currency changing its form. Yes, it includes currency changing its form because 90% of transactions across this planet, it is digital. It happens through a debit or a credit card. We don't use physical cash. And now digital currencies are now going to be used more and more. And we'll come to understand that. But it's not so much just about how money is changing its form and about currency and about monetary policies and changes in financial systems because of technology. It is more about reclaiming financial control over our lives. That is what I want us to get more than anything else out of this. This whole tokenized age is shifting away from centralized control, central authorities that govern over the financial system to where we now have distributed ownership in ways that never existed. It is a move away from debt-based money, money that loses value, to asset-based value, a new way how value is going to be determined. It is from permission access to open participation, where we can now participate within systems of generating income in that we need no permission, where before we needed permission. And it's moving away from labor dependency to income generating systems. That's what the tokenized age is shaping. It is coming to a point where trading time for money is going to eventually become a thing of the past. That is how different this world we're going in is. That does not seem to even compute, because all we have known our lives is we have to trade time for money, but we are living in a brand new age. We have gone from the industrial age, where human value was determined by our capacity for output and production, where earning millions was the apex of achievement in that age. And then we morphed in to the information age, where human value was based on utility of knowledge and creativity. And we're still there today, but these ages overlap one to the other. And we generally don't even, as a society, not consciously aware that we are moving through these ages. In the information age, the aspiration for billions became the apex. And now we are now into a new age. It's a civilization change called the tokenized age, where the aspiration is now into the trillions. With each succeeding age, the capacity to earn has become greater and greater. The challenge has been is that the system, the financial system itself, has been set in such a way that those that are aspiring to achieve and those that have, the elites, the 1% and 2%ers, there's always been a huge gap of inequality, where the richer got richer and the poor always continue to struggle. And so even though aspirations and potential to increase financially was there, the masses never got to share in it because of the very system itself. Well, what's happening now is that the entire system is changing by necessity. And when I say by necessity, we are in the information age, where you can fact check everything I'm going to be telling you, and you could also explore and do your own research, which I always encourage, and you will see that the entire planet, what they call the global debt of the planet, is such that the planet cannot produce within its current systems enough to get itself out of debt. If you live in a system, a world that is in debt, that runs by a financial system that they call a debt-based system, that only functions when people are borrowing and living in debt, that has brought the world to a place where, for a long time, the financial system knew it wasn't working. And now that system is about to change. And it's that change of the system that is opening up doors for you and I. But what I want us to be aware of is that the evolution of this whole digital economy is not that we're disrupting that system, we are correcting it. It's now going through a phase of correction. And in that correction, it is bringing back to us financial control, where it's moving from restriction to access and from control to autonomy. This is the tokenized age, and it's the new architecture of wealth creation. Ladies and gentlemen, the world has not seen this before. We are in a new age, and financial systems across the globe are now shifting, because it's broken like many other systems. But this tokenized age is bringing to everyone the potential to now own. And because we are in a digital economy now, it is digital ownership. One of the perspectives and mindset shifts that we have to get within this new age is that, because it is digital, because it's not tangible and can be seen, it requires a look into it with a new perspective. And so, in other words, if we own a digital asset, because it's not tangible and can be seen or held, it almost feels like it is not real ownership. But we would become surprised to know that in this digital realm now, when you own something, it is more real than if you own something tangible. Meaning that legally, it is so secure that nobody could even steal it from you. Whereas in this world, you can own something and it could be stolen from you. Even your home, you can go online and steal somebody's property if you know how to hack well enough. You could steal somebody's identity if you know how to hack well enough on the internet. In this new digital world, none of that will happen. And we just have to understand how this world works. But digital ownership has now brought us to a place where owning, where we can now multiply and earn wealth, is no longer reserved for the privileged. In fact, the tokenized age has now opened up channels of income and opportunity directly to you and I in ways that was not available before. And as a result, it is redistributing wealth, allowing us to have access to the same sources of revenue that the elites and the privileged has had over the years. And that has not been possible before. So the first video we're going to look at is going to give us a framework of and give us a peek into this world that we're moving into, and it's going to lay the foundation for where we're going to go. So take a listen, and I want us to listen with an open mind, because all that I've said so far is to bring us to this point to understand that this is not just a change in the form of money, it is a civilizational change, and people are not seeing that. They're just looking at the surface where monetary policies and money is changing. It is more than that. Take a listen and take notes if you need to. This is a generic video that was on YouTube, but it paints the picture very well.
Forget everything you thought you knew about money. We're living through a quiet revolution, a moment where the very definition of value is being rewritten. The world is tokenizing, and money, believe it or not, is just the beginning. When most people hear crypto, they think of Bitcoin, a digital currency floating in cyberspace. But that's like looking at the invention of the internet and only seeing email. What's truly happening is far bigger, far more profound. We're witnessing the birth of a new digital layer for our entire economy. This isn't just about digital cash. Imagine owning a fraction of a skyscraper in Tokyo, a piece of a Monet painting, or even a share in a forest that generates carbon credits. This is the promise of tokenization. We're taking real-world assets, real estate, art, intellectual property, you name it, and transforming them into digital tokens that live on a blockchain. These aren't just JPEGs. They're digital twins of physical things, carrying ownership rights, history, and value. Suddenly, assets that were once illiquid and exclusive are becoming divisible, tradable, and accessible to anyone with an internet connection. It's the democratization of ownership on a scale we've never seen before. So, how is this all possible? The engine driving this transformation is blockchain technology. But let's be clear, blockchain isn't just a fleeting trend, it's a fundamental infrastructure shift, as significant as the railways or the internet itself. Think of it as a new financial architecture being built right under our noses. For decades, our financial system has been a patchwork of slow, expensive, and centralized databases. Blockchain offers a different model, a shared, transparent, and immutable ledger. It's like upgrading from a horse-drawn carriage to a high-speed magnetic levitation train. We're building digital bridges between the old world of finance, Web 2, and the new decentralized world of Web 3, creating a system that's more efficient, transparent, and interconnected. This new architecture brings with it a new set of rules and a fundamental shift in power. In this new world, ownership is becoming programmable. Through something called smart contracts, self-executing agreements written in code, we can define exactly how an asset behaves. Imagine a share of stock that automatically pays you dividends, or a digital concert ticket that grants you access to exclusive content after the show. Your digital identity can be verified instantly without relying on a central authority. This isn't just about buying and selling. It's about embedding logic, rights, and rules directly into our assets. It's a world where the code is, quite literally, the law. Power is shifting from intermediaries to individuals. So, the billion-dollar question is, who wins in this massive transition? It's not just the early crypto adopters or the Wall Street giants. The winners will be those who can bridge the gap, the ones who understand both the language of capital and the logic of code. They are the new hybrid investors, the digital architects who can see the connections between traditional markets and this emerging token economy. They'll use sophisticated AI-driven tools to navigate this complex landscape, managing portfolios that seamlessly blend stocks, bonds, and tokenized assets. This isn't about choosing one world over the other. It's about mastering both. The ability to speak both languages, finance and technology, will be the defining skill of the next generation of wealth creation. But let's not get carried away by the hype. This new frontier is exciting, but it's also fraught with risk. With great power comes great responsibility, and decentralization without sensible guardrails can quickly lead to chaos. We've already seen glimpses of this. Dramatic flash crashes on unregulated exchanges, billions lost to hacks, and protocols collapsing overnight. The speed of innovation is far outpacing the speed of regulation, creating a Wild West environment where investors are vulnerable. Security is a constant battle, and the promise of a trustless system still relies heavily on the integrity of its underlying code. Navigating this world requires not just optimism, but a healthy dose of skepticism and a deep understanding of the potential pitfalls. This is more than just an investment trend. It's the future of our financial system taking shape in real time. The rules are being written right now, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Understanding this new system isn't optional anymore. It's essential for anyone who wants to protect their wealth, seize new opportunities, and have a say in the financial world of tomorrow. This isn't a game you can afford to sit out, because whether you participate or not, this new system is being built around you.
Indeed, the system is being restructured, is being built all around us. By who? By the entire global banking system, starting from the very highest level, like the SWIFT system. And you can all explore this if it's of interest to you. The SWIFT system that connects the whole global banking system, they have all upgraded their infrastructure to blockchain technology. The World Bank and all the biggest players in the financial system. And this is not new, this has been going on for years. In fact, people are surprised often when I'm talking with them to know that millions of companies have already are already functioning on blockchain. And many of us are not aware that blockchain technology, while it started with cryptocurrencies and digital currencies, it has now evolved and progressed to where it is now the layer of value that the entire economy of the world is going to be built on. Which is why, if you go and check, you're going to see, you name a company and you search it on Google, you'll see they're already running on blockchain technology. That is going to be the world. It doesn't matter what sector. It could be music, it could be sports, it could be farming, it could be the banking system, the healthcare system, the real estate, everything. The whole world is going to run on blockchain. If there's anything else that you learn about that, because that is the landscape upon which we are going to have to function. And it's a step up, a great step up from the internet. When the internet first came along, we people thought that it's going to replace the a lot of the postal service is going to be affected, and it's going to replace faxes, and it was seen as just at the beginning as an administrative tool, and no one had the sight that today The world can't even function without the internet. Well, I want us to take that and 10x or 100x or 1000x that when it comes to blockchain, blockchain is going to change and redefine how the entire world is going to function, find meaning, and find value. And so, for those of us who, when it comes to our financial security for the future, this is critically important. Um, Digital, and as the video said, which is accurate, it is not about choosing one world over the other, because it's not at this point, it's not a displacing of one for a replacing of the other. It's how we can bridge them. And maybe at some time in the future, one may become displaced, the old may become displaced. But right now, as all emergent systems go, it's about how we can bridge them and what it presents for us in terms of opportunity that is unprecedented, that we have never had before, and how we can take advantage of that. What happened, as the whole world has been shifting and changing for this, and what has been preventing it from really moving forward, where it's ready now to cross this threshold, is something happened 7 months, 8 months ago that hit that flicked the switch. It became like the gun at the starting gate, where everybody shut off. And what we're going to see as 2026 evolve and beyond, we're going to see a global movement across the world that where things are going to start shifting. The reason why I'm really laboring on this is because when we go through these civilizational shifts, the average person does not realize it's happening until the world has almost fully adopted to it. It happened with electricity, it happened with the light bulb, it happened with the internet. It took 36 years before people accepted the internet was valuable. The same pattern of thinking is going to happen because it requires a shift in mindset. But here's what happened 7 months ago that brought us to a place where we're now about to cross a threshold that is going to redefine how you and I can now participate in a way that we never had the opportunity to. Well, many people are not aware of it. They might have heard of it, but they may not know what it means. So just listen to this short.
This afternoon, we take a giant step to cement American dominance of global finance and crypto technology as we sign the landmark Genius Act. I pledged that we would bring back American liberty and leadership and make the United States the crypto capital of the world, and that's what we've done. The Genius Act creates a clear and simple regulatory framework to establish and unleash the immense promise of dollar-backed stable coins.
This Genius Act will unlock American dominance in the crypto industry by creating clear rules of the road. It will update archaic payment rails with a revolutionary new payment system, and it will extend U.S. dollar dominance, like you said, globally. This is a huge promise made and promise kept by President Trump. We have a deal maker in chief, and it's because of your vision, your leadership, your determination, your skill that we're all here today. So thank you very much, President Trump.
With today's signing, the future of crypto and the crypto industry, the U.S. dollar working together is going to be stronger and bigger and better than ever before. And thank you, everybody, very much. Thank you.
I was speaking to a gentleman just a couple of days ago, and I was I was telling him about some of these shifts that are taking place and the advent of where cryptocurrency has reached today, where we used to think it's some nebulous artifact somewhere in the distance and not real money. And when I was sharing some of the information with him, he said, "Oh, crypto, I don't want anything to do with that. Me and my business, I don't want to have it." He's not aware that, see, cryptocurrency is now legal tender. By law, every bank in the United States now have to deal with cryptocurrencies. And well, Europe has been ahead of the US when it comes to that. But now every bank on this planet has no choice but to deal with it. So my associate, who thought that it was just something far off, has not recognized that he's going to have to deal with cryptocurrency, whether he likes it or not. The people that are in the know and are at the top of that industry, listen to what they have to say, because the credit card companies, everybody at the highest level of finance are all ready for this right now.
My name is Michael Miebach. I'm the CEO at MasterCard, and we just witnessed the signing of the Genius Bill.
This is really the beginning of a financial revolution here in America. With the passing of this, we've got crypto stablecoins now that can be built right here in America to make every payment fast, cheap, and more global.
It enables us to upgrade the financial system, make it fairer, more accessible.
The president was able to achieve one of the most important changes in the legal framework in the United States to allow the creation and the safely usage of stablecoins.
This is going to mean fantastic benefits for individuals and businesses around, and looking forward to the great results for crypto and for the U.S.
This is a great day for crypto. This is a great day for the U.S. dollar, and it's a great day for America.
This is foundational legislation, foundational regulation that is going to unlock the power of the internet in rebuilding the financial system.
Not only that, but it positions the U.S. as the global leader in this new digital assets industry, which I think is incredibly important.
So now that there is, by law, a new form of money that we've been hearing about for many years, and now that cryptocurrency is now legal tender, most people in the world don't have it, but all the banks are going to be dealing in it. And so, as they were saying, the financial system has to be upgraded, and new payment systems now have to be developed. And but I want us, and I'm going to keep just touching on it, that it's not just an upgrade of the financial system, because when you upgrade a system, when you upgrade it, you are improving its efficiency within the paradigm that it functions in. This is not that. That's what's at the surface. This is more than a system upgrade. This is the entire paradigm itself changing. And I want us to catch that. What it means for you and I is this. It now gives us three primary advantages that we did not have before. We now have expanded earning potential where through digital assets and tokenized system, it gives us access to the four laws of creating wealth, generating earning potential that we never had before. And we'll see how that plays out. It gives us financial autonomy that we never possessed before within the old system, where we get to determine what we can own, how money can be earned, how much we can earn, how it is used, and how it multiplies. Humans on this planet, we have not had that type of autonomy. We have that now. Is that for the elites or for no, it is for every human being on the planet. Now that, and we now have the option or the potential for generational wealth, where blockchain crypto ecosystem, which have been around and which are evolving, they offer unique opportunities for exponential revenue growth in unprecedented ways that we did not have before. And there are enduring ways that will very likely outlive us. And to really capture that, it has to be within the context of understanding that this is a civilizational shift that we're going through, not just an upgrade of the financial system. In blockchain technology, which is the digital infrastructure of all financial payment systems and every other business that exists, is all going to run on blockchain. What we need to understand is that all blockchains function on a certain principle that applies to all. But for our purposes this evening, we're focusing in on the financial system. We may know that it's a decentralized, transparent, and immutable ledger, that it is secured by what we call CPU nodes, which are just computer software, and they validate and record all transactions that take place on the blockchain. It does not matter if it is a payment system, which is what we're focusing on, because when it comes to new money, cryptocurrency, we're looking at how can this actually become real world application. That's what we're looking at. But it doesn't matter if it is money or if it is social media. because social media companies are now beginning to go on chain. And once they go on chain, you also now can earn based on how it's structured because of the very advent of how blockchain technology works. So let me try to bring that into a bit of an understanding. All blockchains they are decentralized systems, meaning that no central authority owns it. The CPU nodes, they are digital properties that is fractionally owned by individuals of a global community. Tokenization simply means that you can become a fractional owner of pretty much anything. And these CPU nodes, they secure the network. They validate the truth of the information. It enables transactions to happen and it keeps the system alive. This is the digital real estate. And we have to really get that. It is more secure and more advantageous than owning physical real estate. That one is a difficult one to swallow. And until we understand it, that will begin to make sense. Not that you can't own or shouldn't own physical real estate, but this one has far greater advantages. And so nodes, they sit on a blockchain right in the flow of the value of whatever that is being transacted on that blockchain. And that is what produces the financial fruit for us. But here's what we want to get. It is fractionally owned by thousands of people all across the globe. What is a node? This less than 1 minute video will give us an idea.
Nodes, the unsung heroes that tirelessly support blockchain infrastructure and lets all blockchain systems keep themselves in check. Think of them as the backbone of the blockchain. Networks require decentralized validation to ensure the security of transactions, where a decentralized network acts as a safeguard. Curious to learn more about how an everyday individual can participate in decentralized finance as a banker? That's where Miracle comes in. Node investments can be your ticket to passive income. As transactions flow through the blockchain, you, as a node investor, earn a share of the pie. It's a revolutionary way to make your money work for you, without the need for constant oversight. Our new products, Node and Leveler, are designed to make you a first mover in the world of blockchain investment. Embrace the future with Miracle, where Node, Phoenix, and Leveler work together to mitigate fluctuations. Your future starts here.
Our future starts there. Now, we've heard for a long time in the real world that if we can own real estate, and real estate is indeed a good investment. But in this tokenized age that we're in, we can own digital real estate. Owning nodes, and you need to catch this, blockchain infrastructure is what the entire world is going to be running on. It already started, and you do your research, you'll see. In the banking system was already set themselves up to do it. Those banks that are beginning to go on chain, they're using currently existing blockchain platforms. But all the blockchains are running the same way. They all have nodes that validate the transactions. These nodes are literal real estate of the infrastructure that the entire system runs on. And if we can get that, so this positions us inside of a growing system that leverages exponential growth that naturally emerges as the adoption increases, as the world begins to get more and more into this. And what the nodes do is that they produce passive income. I'm going to lead up to show us how we're going to tap into these 4 laws in ways that's accessible by anyone. And it's going to build the type of wealth that you only could have dreamed of. And so this is where, because of fractional ownership, which is what tokenization is bringing, and just to give an example in case, because we have to get used to it, tokenization is a very broad concept that has different aspects of it. But generally speaking, if you had a very successful business that was doing very well, a very profitable business, and you wanted to sell it for some reason, and let's say it was worth $10 million, you can sell it to a person in the traditional world who somebody will come along and who can afford and they'll buy it. Or you can say, you know what, I'm going to tokenize my business and I'm going to create 1,000 tokens. Each token is worth $1,000, and that's how I'm going to get my $10 million for my business. So let's say 1,000 people buy tokens, each representing a fraction of that business. Now, instead of one person owning this business, 1,000 people own it, and 1,000 people share in the profits of it. And that token is as legitimate to take to an institution to use as collateral anywhere in the world, particularly within these decentralized financial systems. And so nodes, which are the infrastructure of the global payment systems and every other system in society, that they're all using this, and that is like huge, huge potential you're talking about. They all are fractionally owned by people all across the globe. Where we are right now, as it pertains to how this new form of money becomes utilized across the globe, because right now there are $4 trillion being held in crypto wallets around the world with limited accessibility of how it can be utilized as seamlessly as a debit or a credit card. We just go to a point of sale terminal, we just tap, swipe, or insert our card, or we go to a payment portal on the web, on the internet, and we just check out. And to be able to do it as seamlessly as we would debit or credit card, such a system does not exist. All the blockchain platforms that currently exist on our planet, none has the capability or the capacity to do that. And so that's what the world needs now. We are at this threshold now. The whole world is ready to cross over into this new. And what they're saying is lacking is what they call global interoperability, where it can function as seamless as what we're accustomed to with debit and credit cards. Kevin O'Leary in this short says something that is important, that defines where we are now and what I'm going to share with you.
Kevin, help me understand how revolutionary this is for the economy, but not just the economy, because the economy feels far away. Like how we live, how we pay for things, how we go about our life.
So in the last 9 months, lots has changed. Number one, we had regulation on stablecoins, which is effectively digital payment systems. That's very important. It's now law and legal. Number two, we've been talking about putting Wall Street onto blockchain for 12 years. It's never happened because there's never been a good use case to do it. And nobody wants to rebuild the infrastructure on compliance on Wall Street until now. Now, let me give you an example. If you think about now that digital payment systems are legal, and let's talk about a use case for consumers, your phone. Now, if you could be right beside your favorite coffee shop or pizza joint or burger joint and simply say, large Mac, mac and cheese, fries, that's it. That's all you have to say. Now, why will that work? Because your phone, through AI, knows where you are. It knows where they are. It has a digital payment system on chain, and it sends that $4 order in a nanosecond right to the register there. They know who you are, so when you walk in a minute and a half later, you pick up your burger or your slice or your coffee or your groceries or your dry cleaning or anything you want. The only thing holding us up on this vision, but believe me, there's a lot of people trying to solve for this, is the blockchain itself. Ethereum, everybody knows that name, and Solana is also popular over the last 3 years. They're too slow because you're going to be doing 100 million transactions around the world every minute.
No, that's the challenge that faces the world, is that the current blockchain platforms are inadequate to be able to handle. Imagine that people are using cryptocurrency now that they can use it. It's now legal to use all across the globe, but the current blockchain systems cannot handle a capacity of millions of people doing transactions simultaneously across the world. So here we have a need. That's where I'm going to introduce you to the largest, the strongest, and the company that is at the forefront of this technology that is bringing to the world the solution that they're all looking for. A company that has been building the financial infrastructure, waiting for this moment for the last 8 years.
And
The
that's
company is called Metaterra, and they're shaping the future of finance. Under their umbrella is Miracle Technologies, which is a global fintech ecosystem comprising of more than 20 companies. When it comes to within Miracle Technologies, they run on their own native blockchain called Miracle Chain, but Miracle Chain is unlike any of the blockchain platforms that exist today. Like all other blockchain platforms, however, they have their own native cryptocurrency, and it's called the Phoenix token. Inside of that ecosystem, there are payment systems and financial systems that encompasses every aspect of finance and what the world needs in terms of decentralized, tokenized systems, real world assets, and where the world is going. This is the first company, the largest and the strongest company of its type that is now bringing this solution to the world. The company is led by some iconic individuals that have made their mark of decades in the industry in both finance and technology. I'm not going to take the time to go through all of that now. Hakan Torhan, who is the visionary, a banking pioneer, he's the CEO and founder. Douglas Anderson, who is the chairman, he's also the CEO of Wall Street Capital Partners. You have people like Stephen Norris, who's the founder of big financial asset management companies, also another icon on Wall Street. People may be familiar with Stephen Norris, who is a global economist, well respected around the world, was appointed to lead the Federal Reserve or to chair the Federal Reserve by President Trump. He declined the offer to do that. He sits on the board of Metaterra. You have people like John Baer, who's a technology titan. He's the one that started Widevine technology that was bought over by Google, that built the backbone of what is Google today. He's also the architect of what is streaming technology today, that Netflix and Amazon Prime and these streaming technology. In fact, he has set the global standard for what streaming technology is. Monica Profit, she wrote the book Blockchain 101. They have people that's leading this company, and over the years, they've been building to this point. And the company today, it has reached a pivotal point in this new crossover, and the timing cannot have been perfect, as the CEO said, that what they have been building, had they brought it to the world a year ago, the world would not have been ready. Why? Because regulation had not caught up with innovation. But now the regulation, the compliance is there, and now the company in the next 20 business days is going to be crossing a major threshold where the company is going to become listed on the NASDAQ, the stock exchange, and that is a huge deal. Anyone who's in the financial space, to know what it takes to have a company publicly listed on the NASDAQ with the other tech companies like Google and Facebook and Amazon and Microsoft and Tesla thing. You're talking about companies that have gone through the most stringent of regulatory scrutiny. It speaks about the legitimacy, the credibility, the type of governance the company has. And so you can bet that this is what gives the strength and the visionary longevity to this company because of who they have. I cannot even begin to tell you what is behind all of this because this is just an overview. But I am so proud and I'm so excited and I feel so privileged to be a partner with this company because of what they're bringing. Now, I'll tell you a point of interest within the company. Hakan Turhan, who is the visionary, the CEO and founder, because of where he has come from in his history, he could have taken this whole project to Wall Street and let the multi-billionaires invest and build this. And it would have been an easy job, but it might not have been where it is today. He wanted the unbanked. The goal is they want to reach the unbanked people, the people who the banks will not transact with because of where they are, what they have. He wanted to make sure that our rich people can build this. And over the last 8 years, they've been gradually building this system and doing it in such a way that you and I could be part of this. And so what they have created, you and I can now participate at levels from beginning to end, where we tap into the 4 laws that we talked about. These visionary voices are shaping the future of digital finance, and you'll see how that comes together. But the company, over the 8 years of global growth, they have operational and logistic offices in 13 countries. The head office is in Europe, in Cyprus, and so they're regulated and licensed by MiCA, which is the regulatory body for Europe, which is the equivalent of the SEC, which also we are compliant here in the United States, which would have to be in order to go to the stock exchange. It's the only company of its size and strength that have literal crypto stores that you can walk into. You can use ATMs, you can exchange crypto for fiat for crypto. And so not only is it the first company of its type that has the technology, the wherewithal to come bring to the world what the world is ready for, but they're also the first to take blockchain to Wall Street as a publicly traded company. I can't begin to tell you what that is going to do for this company. They're also the first company in the world to be able to tokenize a project of this scale. Their MetaTerra is leading the construction of what is going to be the largest airport in Europe, being built in Romania. And the entire airport, a $3 billion project, is going to be completely tokenized, meaning that it's not going to be owned by 1 or 2 or 3 big conglomerates. It's going to be owned by regular people like you and I, and we as partners get to be able to benefit from owning tokens and be fractional owners within that and the benefits that we can get from that. And so that's the foundation that we stand on. When it comes to how we can integrate payment systems whereby digital currencies and cryptocurrencies can become normal everyday payment, Miracle Cash and More is their banking switch. This is their platform which every aspect within their ecosystem interfaces right here. This is where Web 2 meets Web 3. This is where they bridge the old financial model with the new financial model in such a way that we can now function with cryptocurrency as seamless and as easy as tapping and swiping a card. And it does not matter, and this is key, what cryptocurrency it is and what blockchain you run on, which has been a challenge within the payment system world. Their technology has solved that. And so Miracle Cash and More, that is the financial bridge that takes all financial services and bridges the old and the new together. Then there is Miracle Pay. Miracle Pay is the actual software but that allows the transactions to take place seamlessly within that bridge between the old and the new. And just to get a better glimpse of what it is, take a listen.
Let's rewind thousands of years to a time before money existed. How did people pay?
A sack of wheat? Some heavy metal? Or maybe a live chicken? Trying to fit a chicken in your wallet? Not ideal. Luckily, financial revolutions followed one another, bringing us to the present day. And today, a new revolution begins. Miracle Pay. So, what is Miracle Pay? It's your innovative, secure, and transparent way to accept payments in any cryptocurrency. Why blockchain? Because it's decentralized. No more bank bureaucracy, no more endless paperwork. And security? It's not controlled by a few guys in a suit. It's secured by hundreds of millions of people across thousands of nodes worldwide. With Miracle Pay, you can get paid anywhere. Whether you're selling ice cream on a glacier in Alaska, or selling hot tea in the middle of the Sinai Desert. We might question your business model, but never your payment system. 24/7 security, 99.9% uptime, and support for over 100 wallets. Miracle Pay is your trusted blockchain partner. Join Miracle Pay today. Integrate the future of payments into your business right now.
So if you're a merchant, and which you're going to have to now be able to accept cryptocurrencies because it's now legal tender, and there are lots of people around the world, there are millions of people that want to have the freedom to use cryptocurrencies. And then as the banks begin to integrate, because the old banking system now has to do that, merchants now need a way to be able to accept that, which is not readily available or has been that way. You also need to be able to, as we begin to transact in cryptocurrency, we need to have a system for that. Miracle Pay, those of you who have iPhones would know that years ago, Apple, through contracts with the bank, was able to introduce Apple Pay, where you can have the app on your phone and you can just walk up and you can just tap your phone. Here in the United States, most retailers, you can just tap your phone and it goes straight from your bank straight to the payment system. In a very similar way, Miracle Pay now is going to be bridging that gap. How are they going to do that? They're going to do that because they have secured contracts with the 4 largest payment providers in the world that serves 120 countries. When you go into a store or a supermarket and you look at the name of the terminal that you are inserting or tapping your card on, you're going to see 80% of the time, you're going to see Ingenico, Pax, Verifone, or NCR, because they make up 80% of the world, the global payment terminals around the world. Ingenico, which is the largest payment provider in the world, they have over 142 million terminals. Pax has over 110 million, and so on. But just the same way how Apple Pay was integrated into debit, Miracle Pay is now going to be integrated into these payment systems worldwide, where people can now begin to pay. And that happens through an international crypto-enabled debit card. So imagine, it doesn't matter what cryptocurrency you use, whether you use a card at the terminal, at the ATM, or whether you use your phone, your cryptocurrency transacts into whatever currency of your country it is as seamlessly as you would right now, and what we're familiar with credit cards. Every transaction that is done, there are fees that are paid. Right now, the world does over $360 trillion in card transactions around the world. And what many people are not aware of is that every time you tap or swipe, you're paying a fee. A central authority receives those billions of dollars in fees because it is controlled by a central authority, the credit card entities. On a blockchain, because it is fractionally owned by thousands of people all over the world, the fees come to those who own the nodes that validate the transactions. This is how it works.
You've probably heard the saying, if only I were early. Early to Bitcoin, early to Amazon, early to Tesla. Well, here it is again. But this time, it's not about hype. It's about owning the rails of a new financial system. Introducing CPU nodes, digital assets that earn daily from real crypto transactions happening worldwide. Every time someone pays with crypto, in-store or online, a small fee powers the network. And if you own a node, you get paid. These nodes are already paying every single day in a digital currency undervalued today, but set to explode in the months ahead. We've secured contracts with 4 global terminal providers, giving us access to over 100 million active merchants. And we're also integrated with major online retailers, processing billions each month. When even a small percentage of that volume transacts in crypto, node rewards skyrocket. The system is active. Payouts have begun. We're funding our aggressive expansion, not with Wall Street, but with everyday people like you. Together, we're decentralizing wealth. By owning the new infrastructure of money, timing is everything. Own a node now and earn every day for life.
That's literal, ladies and gentlemen. When we own the digital real estate upon that secures and runs the entire blockchain platform, this is passive income. This is income of these fees that come in 7 days a week, 365 days a year in perpetuity. This is unheard of before, where it does not require being on a computer. It does not require time of investment. It does not require maintenance. It just, every time the world shops, every time a card is tapped or swiped anywhere in these 120 countries, in cryptocurrency, fees are generated. And we get, as node owners, we get to benefit from that. And I'll show you how it all comes together. But more than that, we have to understand that this is happening within a blockchain infrastructure that is unlike any blockchain that currently exists. In fact, it's the first of its type in the world. That carries a lot of weight to it. In addition to that, we're talking about an age where, when you do your research, you'll see that companies, hundreds of companies, more and more now, are beginning to tokenize. They're going on chain. They're now setting up blockchain infrastructures. This is now the way how the future is going to be built. What they're looking for, similarly, like how JP Morgan Chase, one of the largest banks in the world, they developed their cryptocurrency last year, and now they're running on the Ethereum blockchain. There are many other institutions and many companies that are going on chain, and what they're looking for are services that can accommodate. Miracle Chain is an AI-driven, decentralized, innovative platform that doesn't just power a digital economy, it does it intelligently in a way that other blockchains don't. I'm saying that to say that it's not just transactions happening in the financial world that our nodes are involved in. It's involved in everything that's happening in the ecosystem. So when I'm saying that, to just say this is far bigger than you can see the picture now of the potential of what it means. But this is where businesses are going to be coming to be able to tokenize, to be able to put their businesses on chain and be able to participate in the vastness of this ecosystem.
Welcome to the future of business. Miracle Chain, where blockchain meets automation and AI transforms how companies grow. Imagine onboarding customers with a tap, paying teams worldwide in seconds, and launching token ecosystems without writing a single line of code. With Iterato, your sales force becomes unstoppable. AI handles the follow-up, while gamification drives viral growth. Need to launch your own token? Miracle Launchpad and DEX give you everything: pre-sales, vesting, swaps, and full control. The Miracle Wallet simplifies finance. No seed phrases, just seamless access to crypto. Commissions and payments, secure, compliant, and easy to white label. And at the core, Miracle Chain. A private layer 2, built for scale, compliance, and automated global payouts. Whether you're selling online or in-store, Miracle Pay bridges fiat and crypto so you can do business anytime, anywhere. Miracle Chain. Powering the digital economy, one smart system at a time.
This is what we are owning the infrastructure in, on this platform. And to own the infrastructure, you have to purchase the nodes. This investment that you're going to be making into owning the digital real estate is perhaps one of the best, is going to be your best spent dollars in your life for your financial future. Of course, I'm saying that being someone on the inside as a partner, and you become a partner, you're not a consumer, you're not a customer, you're a stakeholder in a global financial infrastructure. The company, as it's preparing to become a publicly listed company, because once we get closer to that, and once that happens, the particular nodes that I'm going to talk about, which are the ones that are securing the actual blockchain infrastructure, these are the Miracle CPU nodes. These are no longer going to be available. They're going to be, the company has other nodes, different types of nodes that do different things that will be available. But these CPU nodes, the company is giving an offer because of where we are approaching. If you buy one CPU node, which is $1,200, you're going to get 2 additional free. If you buy 3, you will get 6 additional free. And if you buy 7, you'll get 14 additional free. This is purchasing one time and earning in perpetuity. There is no fees that come after this. There's no maintenance. There's no subscriptions. There's no renewals. This is a one-time purchase. You own the digital asset. In addition to that, there's a couple other specials that are here. But for the more investment-minded, they have 4 different nodes inside of this, which comprises of different types, as well as the Merix token. And what would be normally over 11,000, there is going for 5,000. And then there's a smaller package of 4 different types of nodes, which would normally be, which is cut in half. This is half the price, 2,500. Anyway, these offers, they conclude and they go away for good on Monday, January 19th. These CPU nodes, I cannot begin to tell you the value of this. If you have to think of this, the correct way to think of this, which might sound, off, is this is the equivalent of purchasing a property, a rental property, a house. This is the equivalent of that in this new tokenized age. And so what Miracle offers us is how we're going to tap into these 4 laws is that, one, by being a node owner, every time that the world is shopping every day using cryptocurrencies, we earn 10 to 30% of every transaction fee, and that's happening 24/7, 365. That's passive income, no involvement, and that happens for life. What would go through your mind is, what would that translate into in terms of earning potential? We won't get into that kind of speculation now, but I would say this to you. Right now, each node, because this financial infrastructure is now rolling out into the world after 8 years, now that the regulations and compliance have laid down, and of course, there's still being ironed out at the governmental level, but because the rails, the general framework has been laid down, this is now being laid out to the world. And so now we have begun, and of course it takes time now for adoption, but it's already happening. Right now we are earning or mining. We're not involved in cryptocurrencies in the front end, in the speculation for those who are on the decentralized exchange, buying, selling, trading. We're not in that. This is the back end where we're validating everything that moves within the infrastructure of the blockchain. And so right now, each CPU node is mining or producing 80 to 100 Phoenix token a day. You can calculate that of what that would mean of how much you can earn, how much Phoenix you're producing in a month. And we know that with what's about to happen, the utility of this of the ecosystem, that during the course of 2026, it is going to be, I'm just going to leave this with you to muse over, and those in the space will know what I'm saying is really modest, that during the course of 2026, it is modest to think that the Phoenix token will reach, let's say, 50 cents in value. Right now, as it's now beginning, like all cryptocurrencies, it's a fraction of a penny, but it grows through utility. And with what's about to happen in a very short space of time, long before we get to the end of the year, but let's say we go through 2026 and it's only 50 cents in value. What you would have produced in a year, and what that you're talking the tens of thousands of dollars that you would have, perhaps the best Christmas you would have had, maybe ever. And that's just the beginning. And I'm just throwing that out just, for your entertainment. What we also need to be aware of is that while we are producing the cryptocurrency every day that is gradually increasing in value, at the same time, we are producing the Merix token, which is another token that our nodes are currently producing. The Merix is relative to the value of the entire ecosystem. And what it is that we are building lifetime equity. This is where we are building a legacy, we're building an inheritance at the same time that we are actually increasing generous cash flow. We are also building long-term equity, which can be liquidated at any time we so choose. Now, if you understand what I'm saying, and many people who are not in the financial space may not quite get it all at once or all at first, but imagine that you have a system where you have a level of earning that is completely passive and it goes on in perpetuity while you're building long-term equity. I've never seen, and I know of not anything else that works like this. In addition, for those who may resonate with it, there is an optional referral program that helps to expand communities of wealth, because part of the company's mandate is to reach the people who have not had such opportunities, including the unbanked people, because everyone has access to this. And there's more to it, but I don't want to labor on and keep us too long. Your referring partner that might have invited you onto the call can tell you more about that. But they have a referral program that is also passive commissions that we earn, and it's also quite generous. For every referral of a CPU node, that does not include the ones that are on special, you get $225 plus 6 additional stream of income within the referral program. No, this is not your traditional network marketing things where you have to be constantly recruiting people in order to increase your income. It does not require any monthly sales, any monthly subscriptions or auto ships, monthly qualifying volumes. It has none of that in this referral program, but it's also a very rewarding referral program for those who choose to help to build communities of wealth among those who really, and believe me, the world needs this, and this is not optional, but a lot of people don't know that it's out there and it's available. And so we're now tapping into those 4 we create value, and this system does that because we have the largest payment system that accommodates this new way of payment. We have the tokenization that the world is going for, the blockchain facilities, the financial technology services, and believe me, this is far wider than we can get into today. We are with the strongest company that's now going to become a publicly traded company. We now own digital assets, we own tokens and real world assets that are constantly generating income in an increasing manner. We have leverage because we have 24/7 operations that of a system that is being adopted globally in an automated way. And we have the compounding where the automated global growth of 100% passive income is happening in exponential ways because of that adoption. And we also have the opportunity of what is called staking within the system, which multiplies our revenue. And so for those in the space will understand that. If you want to become part of the Bellator community, part of Bellator life, you want to become a partner with this evolving and this large company, you can do that from anywhere in the world. To do that, you easily just get your referring partner's link and you set up your account. There's no cost to set up an account where you have access to the website, all the information, your back office and your suites, and where you can make the purchase of your assets. The payments are best made in cryptocurrency, but there are other options as well. And depending on where you might live, what country of your residence you might live, and your referring partner may be able to help you with what some of those options are. The node assets, you legally own them for life. They are willable, they're transferable, they're saleable. What I've just shared with you, ladies and gentlemen, is more than a financial opportunity. It is far greater than that. And the company that I introduced you to is they are years ahead of what will come. Naturally, just like they have different types of credit cards, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, etc., there will be other companies that are being built now that will bring these type of solutions to the world. Metaterra and Miracle Technologies are years ahead of the other companies, and we have the largest payment providers in the world, and we are ready now to take note that the world is ready and legislation is being laid down. We are now taking this out into the world. And so we welcome you to consider all that I've shared with you. Do explore further. Get to the partner that would have shared this information with you, and I really encourage you. This is not something that you're going to be part of this global shift that's taking place, whether we want to or not. It's just, are you going to be positioned correctly in it, or are you going to be now trying to catch up with it? And so what I have just shared is not about speculation. It's not about, am I taking a gamble on this? Is this something that's going to work? That's not one of these. This is not the situation. It is more the question is, am I going to position myself rightly in this civilizational shift, this tokenized age that is unfolding before us? And so I'm going to leave you with that. If there are any questions that anyone may have, any comments you might have, I am going to unmute your mics where you can ask, or you can just type it into the chat. If there are no questions, you can just get with the person who shared the information with you. If that person doesn't have the information, you can also bring it to reach out to the leaders who've been in, and they could also help. They could